when you win, you don't really necessarily have to do it a second time. So we'll see. But I thought we had a great debate last night. Thank you very much.
What would need to change for you to agree to a second debate? Would you want different rules? Would you want a different format?
Well, when you don't win, it's like a fighter. When a fighter has a bad fight, gets knocked out, or loses the fight, the first thing he says is, "We want a rematch." So we won the debate according to every poll, every single poll. I think that are we going to do a rematch? I just don't know. But we'll think about it.
I just don't know. I don't know. I'm going to think about it. And by think, I mean be really, really scared of the prospect. And so that was Donald Trump just a couple days out from obviously losing the debate. I don't care what some crypto Twitter account's poll says. You lost the debate. You know you lost the debate. And him explaining why, when you win something, you obviously never do it again. I mean, that's how every athlete functions. You get one gold medal and then you just quit while you're ahead, I suppose. That's how it works. But anyway, this is an analogy that he really likes. And he, for some reason, has convinced himself that if he says it enough times, we won't think that he's a scared little baby boy. And so he posted on Truth Social, when a prize fighter loses a fight, the first words out of his mouth are, "I want a rematch. Polls clearly show that I won the debate." It's nonsense. No, you didn't. Blah, 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 something, something criminals, something, something migrants, whatever. Everyone knows this and all of the other problems caused by Kamala and Joe. It was discussed in great detail during the first debate, both of those words capitalized, no one will ever know why, with Joe, and the second debate with Kamala Harris. She was a no-show at the Fox debate, which they did not agree to. He just said we should do, but before he lost the debate, he had said, no, ABC News, totally biased. We should do Fox. I agree to Fox. So if you don't show up, you're doing a no-show. That's not how it works at all. If I just say that I'm going on a date with a starlet, we're gonna be at Applebee's at 8, and if you don't show up, you're a no, they never agreed to it. They never agreed to it, no matter how many times I DM'd them.
A storm is tearing up the digital media industry. Only our audience can save us in these difficult times. Help us reach our goal of 100,000 new members at tyt.com/team.
But anyway, and so he tries to cover himself with that, refused to do NBC and CBS. Well, again, if that's an issue, well, maybe they can talk about doing one at those outlets, but Kamala should focus on what she should have done during the last almost 4-year period. There'll be no third debate. Look, we should have some expectations for VPs, but let's also bear in mind that the vice presidency in our system of government, it's not a particularly powerful or influential or even really necessary position for the most part, other than breaking ties in the Senate and then being there in case a comet hits the president in the head or something. They're not really necessary. So look, you can have expectations for her. I had some expectations, I suppose, for a Mike Pence or whatever, but like you can't really hold too much against Mike Pence for not getting stuff done. He wasn't the president. But obviously, most importantly, there will be no third debate. Which, look, Sharon, and I want your thoughts. His thing that when you lose, you say you want a rematch. It's pathetic in this context because we know that he knows that he lost. We know he lost. He knows that we know that he lost, and it goes on and on. It's not that it couldn't make sense, that analogy. It's just that that's not what this is. And in this particular context, if Trump actually thought that he had destroyed Harris, he is exactly the sort of person that would want to do it over and over and over again. And that's not even necessarily one of his worst, personality characteristics. Harris knows she beat him. She clearly wants to do it again. I think that's to her credit. And I don't even think that there is no chance of another debate. I think that if he starts to trail a lot, then he's gonna need to do something to shake it up, in which case he may wanna have one. And in that event, she may not. And so I would say to Trump, plan ahead. Lock in another debate now before Harris loses interest in the whole thing. But anyway, what do you make of the cover that he's doing here?
It's just, it's extra sad, given, it's all relative, the sadness with Donald Trump. The extra sad part is, I do believe he knows he lost. Some people are kind of struggling with that. But I also think that whoever he's closest to in this world, and I don't know if there's one person, he's behind closed doors having conversations with them as if he won. He's not being vulnerable with anyone at any time. He's instead going out to weak crowds, boring more people, and talking about the pets again. I mean, he's still talking. He's doubling down on the pets again. And, somebody's got to tell all these dogs and cats out there, it's okay. You can come out from under the bed. It's okay. It's a made up story. I just think it's sad. It's sad.
Yeah. And I realized we hadn't gotten your actual thoughts about the actual debate, but yeah, I mean, coming out of it, there was a lot of interesting moments, but the pet thing that's going to stick around, I think, for good reason. And yeah, he's still spreading it. And yesterday in his, he did some public address. He was talking once again about, parents send their kids to school and then they come back and they got a sex change operation. That's, I mean, that's just insane. That's literally all it is. Like, that is equally as insane as saying they go to school and they come back and they have elf ears. School did the elf ears, didn't ask the parents. Like, no, it didn't happen. That's crazy. You're a crazy person for saying it. They're crazier for thinking it, like believing it. Walk out. When someone says something that badass crazy, you gather up your stuff and you leave that building. Because otherwise you're just as crazy as the rest of the people in that cult. But anyway, I want to double down on the argument just in case anyone is still buying it. Because some people think that he won. Maybe they find this to be convincing. So he says that if you won, then you don't want another debate, obviously. And so there is an issue with that logic, and I'm going to allow Donald Trump to demonstrate it.
So Marco and Byron and everybody, here's what we're going to do. You guys can be referees if you like. Let's do another debate this week so that Sleepy Joe Biden can prove to everyone all over the world that he has what it takes to be president. But this time it will be man to man, no moderators, no holes barred. Just name the place, anytime, anywhere.
And so that was obviously after the first debate. And that debate, I think most people do think that he won. He did a terrible job himself, but Biden barely survived the event. And so I guess the W goes to him. And he wanted a rematch. I mean, he was saying the same thing then as he is now. He won. Everybody knows that he won. And yet his response is exactly the opposite. Weird, almost like he doesn't actually believe it. Well, Harris is interested. She feels, rightly strong coming out of this. So she tweeted 2 nights ago, Donald Trump and I had our first debate. We owe it to the voters to have another debate. I think that she just, whether you owe it to the voters, yes, generally in a presidential campaign, you have more than one debate. So yeah, in terms of the norms, you do owe it. Also, keep it real, Harris. You had fun. You want to do it again. I'm sure it was a great experience. I would love to see you do it again. And so her campaign chairman responded to one of the tweets about there being no third debate with, "At long last, we discover his spirit animal, the chicken," which I don't know if calling him a chicken is gonna work to trigger him. I think he's already maximally triggered now, but I like it. David Plouffe went on to say, "Let's see if Chicken Man excises Hannibal Lecter from his speech tonight. If he does, demonstrates he was humiliated on that point on Tuesday night. If he doesn't, well, that would be awesome. Classic win-win." And just to clarify, the actual polls show, yes, debate watchers think that Harris won. So CNN had her up 26, SoCal Strategies up 19, YouGov up 23. On average, she's up by 23 points, which is a lot. I don't think it's enough. We live in a partisan country. There's going to be some chunk of the population that says their side won no matter what. I mean, there were some people that said that Biden won the first debate. Like, there are some people that they're not being honest operators. I'm not even saying they're lying to us. I'm saying they're lying to themselves, I think. And by the way, the number that I think I saw, and I want your response to this. So first, two awesome numbers. So Harris raised $47 million in the day after the debate, which is just insane. And number two, between 60 and 70 million people watched that debate, the biggest TV event since the Super Bowl. And so we were saying, like, this is Harris's opportunity. I think that she made the most of it, and a lot of people were there to see it. Any other thoughts?
No, I wonder who gets credit for that crowd size. I think it's her, and she's right. His are dwindling or whatever. This is just rich. I do think she's being a little petty by demanding another debate. I don't even know if it's going to help us. She got real questions. He danced around. I guess he got real questions, but then he just answered whatever he wanted to answer. So is it really even going to help us? But I do think it's funny that on the one hand, he's still bringing up Joe Biden when she reminded him during the debate, "You're running against me, not Joe. Okay, you're running against me." And I wish that Joe Biden would just stop putting on MAGA hats and stay off to the side. Why did he do that? I know that's not what we're talking about, but why would he do that? It's just, put him on backwards even. He didn't do it. So, if they want to do it for pay-per-view, Joe and Trump, I don't even know if they'd get as many. Well, maybe they'd get viewers. I don't know. I don't know what to say. I just think this whole thing is just crazy. You didn't win the debate, or as Joe Biden would say, nobody's saying that. Okay? Nobody's saying you won the debate. You didn't.
One thing that might lead to another debate. So there's two possibilities. One, he starts to trail by a bunch, and we'll get to the polling in a second. Then he needs something to shake it up. The other is we do have another debate coming. Everybody's forgotten that, I think. But Tim Walz and JD Vance are debating, I think on like October 1st, like it's coming up in just a couple of weeks. So I don't know for sure who's going to win that, except that I think I do. I think Tim Walz is going to destroy him because I think Tim Walz is a good public speaker. He has actual charisma, and JD Vance is JD Vance. And some of the questions JD Vance is going to face are going to be as tough as Trump's. Now, JD Vance is not going to utterly fall apart in the same way as Donald Trump. He's relatively competent and has a little bit of impulse control when he's not talking to right-wing podcasters, at least. But that said, I think that Tim Walz is likely to win. And so then, like, Donald Trump has no more opportunities. Like, he has to make opportunities. And maybe after seeing Vance maybe lose, maybe then he wants to do it. I don't know.